Look, no one knows what's actually happening in Bolivia. I can tell you what happened in the lead up to what's happening in Bolivia. There's an internal conflict between the faction of the MAS party who have the presidency, who have governmental power, and Evo Morales, who wants to get back into the presidency and retake the party. And Evo Morales has basically been creating this persecution narrative around himself, which who knows if it's true or not, where, they're trying to keep him down, they're doing things, they're all plotting against him, blah, blah, blah. And it's hard to tell what the fuck is really going on, because Evo Morales is not exactly a trustworthy party. You can't take him at his word here. You can't take the government at their word either. And those are really the only two perspectives that you're getting. There's no such thing as objective media in Bolivia. One is that there was the coup attempt a few months ago. I don't fucking know what that was, man. It's entirely possible that it was a false flag to try and make the government look good, but it's also entirely possible that it was just the initiative of one dumbass general. I don't know which one it is. Who fucking knows, man? Then there was like this bizarre, pretty clearly fake assassination attempt on Evo Morales, which was, filmed from like multiple angles, but he tried to sell it as like part of this persecution narrative. Evo Morales is also facing charges from supposedly an independent prosecutor, but who fucking knows how independent it really is? This is Bolivia. It doesn't exactly have a really independent judiciary for a number of crimes, among them statutory rape. Evo Morales has always been incredibly weird with young girls. By incredibly weird, I don't know. Previously, the evidence was like, it was nothing that couldn't simply be explained by like, okay, a photo of Evo Morales with like a young girl. Maybe, how do you know that it's not like he's a family member of someone who he knows or something, or like a supporter or something? It doesn't prove fucking anything. But then, like, there were a bunch of videos filtered of like Evo Morales like greeting questionably aged women as they arrive to like mass or like his events that he holds among his supporters in Cochabamba. And he makes like these incredibly weird comments like, "Oh, you make me wish I was young again. Do you have a boyfriend?" And that makes me think that it's possible that there might be something to the allegations against him, though who knows? I don't think that someone who acts like that in front of like 18-year-old, 17-year-old girls does that just like in an isolated thing. And now, after I think it was a fake assassination attempt last week against Evo Morales. I don't know for sure though. Don't take my word for it. You will anyway. Some of you will get angry. I don't fucking know, man. This shit is impossible to decipher. Now, there was a protest against that with in Cochabamba, Evo Morales' home state, the base of his support, where people protested armed blockades, etc. And the police and the military tried to repress the blockades to get them to remove the blockade. And suddenly now armed groups attacked. They didn't really attack the military outposts. There was no fight. There was no shooting. But armed groups went to the military outposts. The soldiers didn't want to shoot back at them, so they just surrendered immediately. I mean, it's probably a good move for them to do that because that would start like a real like regional civil war. And most of these soldiers, especially in Cochabamba, they are from the local community. They probably don't want to, they probably like Evo Morales anyway. They probably don't want to fight his supporters or anything. So they immediately surrendered. As far as I know, no shots have been fired yet. Like, armed groups just took over some military outposts, and now they're saying, like, making demands, and Evo Morales is, like, supporting them. And to be honest, it seems like Evo Morales is, like, causing potential, basically because he simply cannot give up his candidacy to someone who is not himself. He cannot say, okay, clearly I am not a viable candidate here. Here is this other guy who I would like to take my place in the primaries for the party. He's not capable of doing that. He wants to run himself. He's been adamant about that the whole time. Like, for him, even ceding his candidacy in the first place back in 2020 was like a huge blow to his ego. He couldn't handle it back then. You could clearly tell at the time as well. And I think he's become a liability. Good on him for what he did when he was the president, for the material benefits that he caused, for the geopolitical positions that he took. But his time is past. And if there's going to be a struggle against the current government, the new MAS party, he's the worst possible person to be leading it right now. He's making it all about himself. And he's potentially causing a conflict that will be nothing but people who agree with him and like him killing each other. Everyone in Cochabamba supports Evo Morales. He doesn't need. Why can't he just run for, like, say, regional governor or something? He would win, like, 80% of the vote. But instead, now we have literal armed militias, like, attacking military outposts that are staffed by, like, random 20-year-old guys who joined the military, as Evo Morales did, by the way, back in the day, for a salary, thinking that they would never have to do anything. And now they're being attacked by people who they agree with on everything. So I don't know. I do not know for sure what is happening. At this point, no one does. But it seems to me that it's all being caused by Evo Morales' ego. The present government is not very good. They are worse than the previous mass government, which was led by Morales, obviously. But they are not so much fucking worse that this is warranted. They're not so much worse that you cannot still work within the party itself. It's all just fucking ridiculous. It's like, it's so cheesy, it's so corny too. It just, Evo Morales has not taken the fact that he might not be the one leading the party anymore gracefully at all. Everything that he's done has just been self-serving. And while his opponents are hardly the greatest people in the world either, this is just so much worse. I mean, I don't even fucking know what's happening yet. Apparently there is something of an armed rebellion. As far as I know, there is no real firefights. There's no real violence. There's just like, armed Cochabamba paramilitaries probably made up from like Evo Morales' support base in the coca growers, the coca growers union and stuff, taking like soldiers hostages. Soldiers who'd never fought back because they don't really have any reason not to trust these people. They don't really have any reason to fight them. It's all a joke. So yeah, I don't know what's happening in Bolivia. It's impossible to tell. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, because it's hard to take a side in this like internal conflict in the mass party. But either way, I think Evo Morales he's just making it so much all about himself. It's all him. It's all his ego. Like he could have been like a great force for good by like, accepting that he would be on the sidelines at least for a time as like this sort of like elder statesman figure, except not in the way that Americans think of it. And, backing someone else to run in like the primaries or something, perhaps becoming like the governor of Cochabamba or something like that for a time, and then looking to get back into national politics later on. But he has not done anything remotely like that, and it's just embarrassing. It's sad to see. The present government is nowhere near bad enough to warrant this response from him, and it's pure wrecker behavior, really. And the thing with the young girls, man, it might be true. I don't know. I used to think it was just a joke because it was just like right-wingers posting random photos of him where he like, took a photo with like a 15-year-old on Facebook. And it's like, if you were a 15-year-old and you met like a former president of your country, you would take a photo with them, obviously. Nothing weird about that. But then I saw those videos of him, of how he interacts with like girls who I don't know how old they are, but they're clearly way younger than him. And it's just like, ugh, this guy's fucking weird. Perhaps, what he did in the past was good, but maybe we don't need to be defending him anymore. Maybe someone else can take the fucking reins now. We don't need this shit. Come on. But yeah, that's all I got to say on that.